Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen the YouTube video, and I think he has it on his website too. Richard Reeves, Friendship, Recession, Talk on YouTube and also on his website. I want to share my own experience, and I don't think I'm alone in this. Seems like we are in a friendship recession, and the US Surgeon General says we're in a loneliness epidemic. And I think it definitely for me got worse during the pandemic. I started moving farther and farther away from where I was living just to save money. And I was single, and I am single. And I wasn't the only one who moved. Like, some of my friends have moved. And with the geographical distance, it's just hard to stay connected. Which brings me to another person who's done a bunch of research besides Richard Reeves, who is Johann Hari, who wrote the book Lost Connections. I think that came out 3 years ago, or it was before the pandemic, so maybe 4 years ago. And in Lost Connections, Hari postulates that we're losing connections with ourselves and also with each other. And for me, that's definitely been happening in the last at least 20 years. It just seems like friendships are harder to maintain, and everybody's so fucking busy. Like, they have to take care of the kids, they have to work, sleep, exercise, commute, and then there's like no time for friends. And I might get a little upset. Like, I mean, like, some people who you were best friends with, like, you hardly ever get to talk to them because, and I'm not saying it's their fault, it's just modern life just leaves hardly any room for friendships. And I've been really lonely, and you try to reach out to people and you try to make friends with new people, and everybody's just busy, right? And like I was saying, even people who are your best friends, I know, like, they're struggling to maintain life. Like, they have to work, maybe they have kids, spouses, and maybe they're struggling also mentally, and they just don't have the capacity to give you any time. And I know that I really have to make more of an effort to maintain those connections and also make new friends. Yeah, but it's been hard. And because of my childhood trauma, I'm going to try to keep it together. I don't have the best relationship with my siblings, and my father was an alcoholic, and my parents were separated when I was really young. They separated when I was in Taiwan, and we moved to America from Taiwan and were raised by a single mother. And I know that she has some difficulties, and was not easy for her to move to a new country. But she's a narcissist. She has narcissistic personality disorder, and she started bad-mouthing my dad when we moved to America, and she didn't let him see us very much. And we were brainwashed against him. And later, after a couple of years, she let us have a little bit of contact with him, but it wasn't very much. But anyway, I don't want to like super get into the reason why I have childhood trauma right now, but I guess I just wanted to bring it up to say that because of the childhood trauma, I don't have currently, and maybe in the last few years, a great relationship with my siblings. And then I'm single and I don't have children, and my extended family are all in Taiwan. And then friends, back to this friendship recession theme, I feel like I hardly even have friends because people are just busy. And I moved a few times, a lot of times actually. And now I'm in a new country. So that just makes it even harder. I guess I want to explain, it's not like I have no friends. I mean, if I pick up the phone, there are people I can talk to, but people are just so busy, and sometimes you don't want to impose, and sometimes people don't call you back. Like some of my best friends, it's not because they hate me, but they don't fucking call me back. And it's like, well, you just fucking give up, right? Like you call them, they don't call you, they don't respond to your texts. I guess I don't want to like have this be a bitching fest, but I know I have to make new friends. But if you have people like the Surgeon General saying we're in a loneliness epidemic, and researchers saying we're in a friendship recession, I'm guessing I'm not the only one. So what's the solution? I think I was reading, it was The Guardian. I think it came out today or yesterday, the newspaper, or maybe it was the New York Times. I don't know. I'll have to look it up and edit it in. But the author was talking about how certain countries now, governments have loneliness minister. Like I think the UK has a loneliness minister, and the writer of the article was suggesting to President Biden that maybe we should have a minister of loneliness. And I would be totally up for that position. So like I have a lot of loneliness experience, so definitely consider hiring me. And I also have government experience. I'm half joking, but it would be nice, I think, if our government considered that. And I don't know, maybe they can just work with the Surgeon General. But I think it's not just a problem in the Western world. I think that other countries should follow the UK's suit and figure out how to tackle this friendship recession loneliness epidemic. I guess the solution is that we all just have to make more of an effort and not give up and not just be so isolated. Like I've been so isolated for so many years. Like I think this friendship recession has been happening even before the pandemic. And then you have the pandemic where we had to isolate. And then on top of that, for me, I have OCD, contamination fears of germs. So like viruses and bacteria really freak me out. And I was very isolated during the pandemic. And the virus is not going away, right? It's like endemic now. So I think I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I heard someone on YouTube saying this, a really young kid, and he said that it's much harder to make friends when you're not in school, and I definitely agree with that. Like it was like so easy to make friends when you were in junior high school, kindergarten, college, law school. In my 20s, it was definitely easier to make friends. Like, I don't remember when I was in my 20s that I had these issues with loneliness and friendship recession. So I wonder if society is going in the wrong direction. Like, if we're if we're just going to become lonelier and lonelier, and that it's going to get worse. In Japan, I forgot what the term is, but you have these, I guess there would be the equivalent of boomers, maybe, or maybe a generation before the boomers. I don't know what they're called, but the elderly in Japan, they have a huge issue with old Japanese people who live alone and they don't get discovered when they die for a while because nobody's checking up on them. They don't live with anybody. They live alone and they die. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of morbid, so I'll stop talking about that. But that's what would happen to me right now because I live alone and nobody checks up on me. Like, if I passed away, it could be a little bit before somebody found me because I'm just in my place by myself. So yeah, it's really a depressing thought. So I guess I want to end by saying that for me, I am going to try harder. And it's not like I haven't been trying to make connections. But I kind of want to end it on a positive note because, like, I'm not always, like, depressed. Even though I don't have a lot of connections. I do have friends, like I said. I do have people I can call and people do talk to me. But I think to get out of this friendship recession rut for myself, I have to make new friends because... And just to repeat, basically, because I moved around, my friends moved around. Some of them are just too busy to maintain the friendship. I was talking to someone who I hadn't talked to in a while, my ex-boyfriend, and I was kind of shocked that he reached out, but we were talking about a bunch of things, but one of the things we were talking about is making friends and connections, and I was bitching about a friend of mine who I consider like one of my best friends, and he knows her, and I was bitching about how like I can't even consider her my best friend now, and she's just like a casual friend who I might talk to a couple of times a year. And he said that it's happened to him too, and I can't take it personally, and it's just modern life, and I'm trying to keep it together. I'm just so upset when I think about it. And I'm not blaming her. Like, I think that she also has some mental issues and she's depressed because I know she's on medication for that, and she has a family and work. Oh my God, I was saying I wanted to end this on a positive note, and I went like down a path of non-positivity. I don't know, maybe I don't need to be positive. I just lay it out like it is. It's like we're in a friendship recession. So maybe I'll make some new friends. And if you want to be my friend, you can reach out to me.